future, shattered dreams, end of times ain't what it seems.
Hello, friends. This is Sam Chaney reporting for Weaponized News. Today is March 20th, 2026. Thank you for joining us on this Friday special edition of Weaponized News Spring Equinox Celebration. We have special guest Will Keller on the line. We're going to go over all this war, the season of sacrifice, take a look at the Epstein files cover up again here now. Welcome to Will Keller audience tuning in here to Weaponized News. Thank you for joining us. Quickly before we bring Will on, we got reports out of ZBS News that the Pentagon is preparing for troops on the ground to head into Iran. Not looking good. As Trump says that we've won the war they've been saying we won the war for the last 2 weeks as new footage comes in of U.S. Victoria base in Baghdad, Iraq on fire. So, yeah, the rhetoric coming out of the White House and U.S. mainstream media doesn't match up with what's actually happening in West Asia. Total war everywhere there now. It's quite disgusting. We'll cover all of these details. We have some economic news. And let me get to this day in history. And we have a lot of in this season of sacrifice that we're in that we'll get to Will with. We'll go through this, all these false flags, man. All these false flags. And another one is right there, just sitting there, right? It's just sitting there on the shelf, and they're like, when is the time to do a false flag and blame Iran? And so that's all in the cards for this government. On this day in history of March 20th, we go back to the year 1520. 1520, on this day, Holy Roman Emperor Charles V orders all Lutheran books in the lower countries to be reduced to ash. So they didn't like those Lutheran books, so they burned them. Good old Holy Roman Empire, 1520 on this day. 1760 on this day, we saw the Great Fire of Boston destroys 349 buildings. 1774 on this day, the Boston Tea Party. The British Parliament passes first of the intolerable acts, the Boston Port Act, which closed Boston Harbor until colonists would pay for damages following the Boston Tea Party. On this day in 1852, literal slavery, like you're chained up. Uncle Tom's Cabin, anti-slavery novel, was published by Harriet Stower on this day, 1852. 1917 on this day, then President Woodrow Wilson meets with his cabinet, who agree that the war is inevitable. That would be World War I, after the sinking of 3 more American merchant ships. On this day in 1968, Lyndon Baines Johnson, then president, signs a bill removing gold backing from U.S. paper money. On this day in 1976, American publishing heiress Patty Hearst is convicted of armed robbery for her part in a 1974 California heist. In 1987, on this day, the FDA approves the sale of AZT AIDS treatment. We appreciate Dr. Fauci's efforts in that regard. And in 2003, we're in the never-ending war on terror. On this day in 2003, U.S. led coalition launches a ground invasion of Iraq after an ultimatum for Saddam Hussein and his sons to leave Iraq expires. It's a sad loop we're on here now. And let's play this clip, segue, to bring on Will Keller and get to all this news and analysis and breakdown for you. Here's Trump today saying we won the war. Like every day they say it, as all of our assets are on fire in the Middle East here now.
He said the war was militarily won in Iran. What did you mean by that?
Oh, I think we've won. We've knocked out their Navy, their Air Force. We've knocked out their anti-aircraft. We've knocked out everything. We're roaming free. From a military standpoint, all they're doing is clogging up the strait. But from a military standpoint, they're finished.
He said the war.
We've won. Meanwhile, they're launching Operation, I think, the 69th assault or something. Iran has announced. So, but we've won. Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about that. Here's Will Keller. Will, how you doing on this Friday spring equinox, entering the season of sacrifice?
Thank you, Sam. It's an honor to be back on here, and yeah, spring equinox, spring blessings to everyone.
I forgot to read Will's intro here real quick. Here's his quick bio. Truth, love, freedom, willkeller.com. Will Keller, public speaker on the causal factors of suffering, such as conscious parenting, human psychology, objective morality, philosophy, natural rights, and natural law. All topics are inseparable for achieving true freedom for humanity. Thank you for joining us, Will.
Yeah, it's great to be back, Sam.
We first hooked up, I think, during the bat times, right?
That's right.
During the bat times, we saw each other out there saying, hey, maybe the bats biting everybody wouldn't be such a bad thing, and we don't need to, end the world over this. But yeah, so we've been going at it pretty hard ever since. I have anyway. This is our second round on the internet. But were you banned off the internet for bat talk?
I had a channel early in this was during the pandemic that got shut down quickly. So I learned that lesson early on. But other than that, that's pretty much when I started, was during the lockdown. So, and that's when we actually had you on my first video podcast, Natural Freedom League, with my partner John, and we were actually going out into public and setting up tables and holding signs and trying to engage the public into some of these big questions like morality, natural law, and the belief in government itself.
I remember that. That was awesome. You guys did great activist work there in real life on the ground.
Thank you.
Here's our U.S. Victoria base, like right now, on fire there in Iraq as Trump claims we won the war. There you go. I guess this is what we call winning now for MAGA.
Yeah, Trump's got FOMO. He just says, whatever he wants, whenever he wants, without a clue.
Look at this. This is from the White House. So I guess MAGA are now neocons. Might as well should have just voted for George Bush again. 90% of MAGA-aligned Republicans back strikes in Iran. Well, now you're just a bunch of neocons. Good job, guys.
Got to support the cult leader.
This happened today, Will, and I think it is important, as everyone's distracted with whatever. The government is chugging along with the tyranny. You better believe that. Today, Trump signed National AI Legislative Framework. Let's take a look at that. This came out of the White House today. I'm not going to read through all their happy. Here's the points of it. Protecting children and empowering parents. It's always to protect the children, except for the ones they kill in bombings. safeguarding and strengthening American communities. It's always for our safety, respecting intellectual property rights. And so you could expect more censorship, preventing censorship and protecting free speech. Unless you go against aardvark land, genocide, and war crimes, then you could expect to be put in a FEMA camp. In enabling innovation and ensuring American AI domination, educating Americans and developing a AI ready workforce.
Wow.
We're
We're there, folks. We're in that realm. That's
there.
what it-
What do you think, Will? Is Skynet live yet? I don't know if it's live. I think it's getting pretty damn close if it's not already live.
That's a great question, and in all seriousness, I think the hardware period of getting the infrastructure laid for this new world we're about to fully embark in, that started, I think, during the pandemic time, and it's well on its way, and it's still in operation today. So we're right on the cusp, but the AI technology and that execution is ready to go. I think it's really just about getting the hardware and the infrastructure in place.
They peeled off, according to the feds now, there will be no state level regulation on AI. They're blocking it everywhere. And so the feds are dictating this AI Skynet rollout.
Yeah, it's like the new arms race, right? And it's the AI race, and those are talking phrases that all the political puppets are using as well.
If we don't do it, Will, then China or Russia will do it. So it's the noble lie, the ends justify the means, which I know you talk about a lot. And so it's always the same excuse. We have to be more evil than the evil, or else somebody evil out there is going to come do the evil. So we might as well do it.
Yeah, their playbook, it's the same playbook for so long. I mean, hundreds of years, and even within the last 100 years, 50 years, our lifetime, it's the same pattern that they use and that they do. So those with kind of eyes and ears to see and hear, it's it's just it's so obvious.
It's painful. Let's go through some of this war reporting. Trump says, without the U.S., NATO is a paper tiger. They don't want to join the fight to stop a nuclear-powered Iran. Now the fight is militarily won with very little danger for them. They complain about the high prices of oil they're forced to pay, but they don't want to help open the Strait of Hormuz, a simple military maneuver that is a single reason for the high oil prices. This is what Trump put out today. They've blown up a large part of the Middle East energy infrastructure here now. But yeah, so calling.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, I mean, what you were saying and what's on the screen right now, it's, I mean, laying that infrastructure. If you look at the war going on both sides, right? Iran and Israel, like the areas they're blowing up are old buildings and infrastructure, right? It's like if you need to build data centers and these gigantic energetic hubs to store your AI servers and stuff, I mean, that's serious tech, right? And you need a large portion of land. So, I mean, who knows? I'm speculating at this point, but I mean, in California, we're seeing solar farms go up left and right, just right outside of kind of major cities. So again, that infrastructure, it's getting laid out, and they just took out the whole Gaza Strip, so hotels are included, I guess.
They're building the technocracy right now.
Yeah.
Today, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, he said that update on the Bat Miracle reinstatements. So if you're kicked out for not taking the Miracle from the military, guess what? We are extending the department's reinstatement and return to service guidance by an additional year, allowing our warriors of conscience to return through April 1st, 2027. They need some more military men to feed into the meat grinder here now. Well,
That's right. Some more sacrifice. Mindless servants and goons. It's unfortunate.
how are you going to go back? How are you going to go back and serve this military after they kicked you out for your right to informed consent? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's disheartening that someone would follow their conscience and understand that they didn't want to do that to their own body, but yet still go back to these people that have coerced them and used, duress. It's like,
How you work for this system? You can't figure out a better hustle than this, than
Exactly.
being dependent on this corrupt government that wants you terminated. Like seriously, big tough steroid guys with guns. Seriously.
that's what boot camp does, right? You got to break it down first. Either a person or land or an area where you want to rebuild, and that's what boot camp does. It breaks the psyche, disassociates them from their own real self identity, and gives them a new identity in that groupthink type of ideologue.
Let me read you this report from ZBS News about the boots on the ground. We're sending the Marines in here now. According to this report, Trump administration making heavy preparations for potential use of ground troops in Iran. Pentagon officials have made detailed preparations for deploying U.S. ground troops into Iran. Multiple sources briefed on the discussion told ZBS News right there. So,
Yep.
what was it, 2003, I believe, we invaded Iraq on this day with boots on the ground. So we're right back there. I'm glad we got those guys that attacked us on 9/11, Will.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, we're going to get into the season of sacrifice, and it's all about bloodletting, blood to the land itself. So it's very literal and symbolic, boots on the ground, right?
The UK now, Big Brother, has agreed to let the United States use British bases to strike Iranian sites targeting the Strait of Hormuz, according to the BBC. So everything is cranking up as Trump and the White House are messaging today that things are winding down. It seems like everything, when they're double speaking out of both sides of their mouth, it seems like everything is actually cranking up here now. Hegseth invokes divine purpose to justify military might, according to the failing New York Times. The Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, has emboldened U.S. military actions with a Christian moral underpinning that suggests they are divinely sanctioned. Will, have you seen the talk, or it was last week, I believe, where troops were complaining that their commanders are telling them, basically, you're on a mission from God. This is the Armageddon to fulfill the Christian Zionist fake prophecy of the Antichrist returning here now, and the Aardvark Messiah to return, which are two different prophecies, but somehow they kind of overlap together. And the Christian Zionists think they're going to convert the Jews to Christianity during the end times. I'm sure you're familiar with all this insanity.
Yes, I did hear it. It's fascinating to me. I mean, those that identify and claim to be Christian can't even actually be Christian and follow the religion of Jesus and Christianity.
There's a major schism now coming about between the Catholics and these evangelical Christian Zionists and the Aardvarks, because the Catholics are like, no, guys, we've been around a long time, and all this is bogus. It's not in our teachings at all. We have our own prophecies over here, guys. We're trying to do, and all this, blow up the Al-Aqsa Mosque, rebuild the third temple, and bring about the Jewish Messiah and the second coming of Christ and all that, the Catholics are like, that doesn't jive with any of our teachings. And they're literally kicking out Catholics now from the Trump Religious Liberty Commission. I don't know if you saw that, but a big Catholic lady was like, I don't agree with these Zionists. And they're like, well, you're anti-Semitic against the Jews. It's like, what? No, she's following her dogma from the Catholic Church for whatever that's worth. That's her First Amendment right. And they're like, no, you're out of here because you're not following lockstep with the Zionist agenda.
You know, religion itself is the original psyop, and it will always work on one simple fact that we are spiritual beings. But the level of knowledge and awareness that someone has of actually real spirituality is from the cultural religions, right? So it keeps them in exactly what they're designed to do. It's a box for consciousness. It's a box for awareness, a limiter. And they just pit these cultural religions against each other all the time.
It's kind of the deal, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the deal. And the social engineers know what they're doing, right?
Oh, for sure. That's
They
right.
They got it all gamed out, all played out. They already know how the mass is going to react. And they're just literally sitting there laughing.
Yeah. Red ants, black ants, stick them in a jar. Nothing happens until you shake that jar, right? Then it's all hell breaks loose.
Well, take a listen to this character. Christian Zionist pastor John Hagee is demanding that Christians send their hard-earned money to aardvark land during the war. Watch this.
Oh
I can't believe these guys. Something gives them following.
Israel is under attack. Missiles from Iran rain down, sirens sound through the night, and innocent families rush into bomb cellars, praying they will see another sunrise. This is not a geopolitical conflict. This is a prophetic moment. The Bible tells us that in the last days, Jerusalem would become a cup of trembling to the nations. What we are witnessing today is history moving exactly as Scripture predicted. And in moments like this, the question is not what is happening. The question is, where do we stand? Right now, your support delivers life-saving care, emergency medical facilities, and supplies and protection to families living under fire. When you stand with Israel, you stand on the side of God's covenant promises. This is a prophetic hour. Stand with Israel. Give now.
It's so corny to me. I mean,
You're gonna donate to that, Will? You can donate at jhm.org.
they're literally getting thousands of dollars, thousands of donations, right? The cultural religions, to me, and you know, this might rub people the wrong way. It's an absolute lazy approach of living, right? It's like we exist in this world. Nature is clearly the authority, and that can mean a lot of things, and that is all encompassing. You have a duty and obligation as you're incarnate in here to get to know that force within you and externally as well. So to just cling on to an ideology, a human being, a book, and just follow that blindly, it's totally an abdication, and it's very cowardice and lazy. So look at that guy. Like, that guy, does he seem spiritual to anybody?
Seems like a very trustworthy man, John Hagee.
Yeah.
They put a spell on these people. They put a demon. You want to know where the Satanists are? This guy right here is the top one of them, right here, leading your church, right here. So there you go.
That's right. Donate, folks. Save yourself, save your soul. It's just, I mean, it's so comical. It's clown world.
But many people are falling for this con.
Yeah.
They're falling for this con, man.
Absolutely.
Take a look at this. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but they continually put out fake AI videos of Bibi. Now, as there was reports that he was whacked. Potentially, him and his brother, they bombed his house. We don't know because they lie about everything. but they are continually putting out videos that keep getting debunked as AI. Here's one from yesterday that is looking like this one, where they staged up a whole fake press conference and people are saying this was all fake. I don't know if it was fake or not, but it's extremely suspicious. Anyhow, here's Bibi, our shadow president here in America, saying that Jesus Christ had no advantage over Genghis Khan. And then you could hear the rest of what he says. This is just insane. AI or real, either way, the message is the same. These are complete megalomaniac, war criminal, genocidalists.
Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan. Because if you are strong enough, ruthless enough, powerful enough, evil will overcome good.
What do you think about that?
Wow. I mean, religion, right? Relegare means to bind, to thwart from forward progress. And it's just like someone put in the chat, right? Paula White, do it for the kids. It's always constantly gaslighting. It's just very hard for me to believe that people actually buy this. And that's why I say it's a cop-out to life, essentially. Yeah, for sure. Because what I promote, and I'm not an atheist, right? The creation and divinity is all around us. We can interface with that, and we are supposed to develop that relationship 100%. Individually, right? We don't need a middleman, just like we don't need a middleman with our freedom. But what comes with that is accountability, responsibility, self-awareness. It's just easy just to sit on the couch and munch chips and just send a donation like, okay, I'm good with God. It's like, it's not working.
I did my part.
Oh, but you're right on the fake video, right? Because that's what that was, right? A fake video. And I think
they're saying it's real. They said they're all real, and then they put out fake ones, and then they troll. It's like it's the psyop loop of, they say you're fake news, and it's like you guys are putting out fake videos, and then we call you on it, and then you say we're fake news. No, you're fake news.
That's right. I think that's all an intentional tactics, like these mainstream networks that are putting out fake AI videos.
That's coming right from Israel government.
I was just about to say governments too. All that's done intentionally, right? And this goes back to the transhumanism, technocratic implementation that we are heading towards, right? This is a transitional phase. In track and field, which I was, big track and field, we had something called a rabbit. And a rabbit, if you were doing an 800-meter lap, which is 2 laps around the track, you would throw a sprinter in there, and he would sprint in front of everyone to throw people off, right? So people would use their energy, and then, you would kind of gas out. But people that knew that was the rabbit knew to reserve their energy and be more strategical. So if we're rapidly approaching the time where any video online is going to be indistinguishable, very hard to discern if it was real or fake. All of the slop and the brain rot that's coming out now, all that is done, that's the rabbit. It's done intentionally. It's there for us to say, oh my gosh, governments are even releasing fake videos. This group is releasing fake videos, right? So it sets the tempo and the pace. So when they drop real agendas with fake videos that have a significant effect, it will have a harder reaction and effect, and people won't even be able to tell the difference. So we're approaching that phase where the digital discernment is going to be virtually impossible at certain levels. Right now, it's comical. Right now, it's comical, but what's funny is that I see people on social media sharing videos, like brain rot videos, like, cats and funny animal videos. People share, or like Game of Thrones season 12 is coming out. It's like, it's all fake, but yet it's got thousands of shares and thousands of comments, and people actually believe that Game of Thrones series is coming back for a new season. So that's the type of stuff that brain rot content is the rabbit itself. It's to condition people. It's to get people used to seeing this kind of stuff, and then they'll drop the actual deception later on.
That's a good analogy. Let's get into. Hey, we're all pirates now. Apparently, we're pirates. French Navy seizes tanker from Russian suspected of flying false flag in the Mediterranean, and so they're seizing oil tankers all over the place. French Navy today seized a Russian vessel. They're claiming trying to transport oil under sanctions has been seized. Another one here. Cuba's under siege right now. We're starving Cuba to death in the new Gulf of America as we build the greater North America has been announced by the government. We're starving Cuba. U.S. says Cuba's prohibited from taking Russian oil as 2 tankers head toward the island. And so we're starving Cuba, blocking food, medicine, fuel, whatever, a full naval blockade siege on Cuba, hoping the same routine, trying to provoke the people to overthrow their government without us having to put Marines boots on the ground there. But meanwhile, Joe Blow Cuban is having a real hard time right now. Having a real hard time, Will.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Here's extra. We're still doing, the righteous U.S. military is still doing extrajudicial assassinations on alleged narco drug traffickers. Here's another one Southcom put out today. So we're distracted by all the bombings in the Middle East. They're still whacking people with no evidence. Lethal kinetic strike here now. And they just say, you're a narco terrorist, and they kill you. And so we're up to over 150 dead. Here's the video of Southcom whacking another one of these. I would like them if at least arrest them, but they whack them and blow up everything. We don't even know. They could say, Will and I, or you out there in the audience, any of us are narco drug traffickers, whack us, and just say, hey, they're on the list. That's where we're heading fast. Here's a video of them whacking this boat. And if this is real, we don't know. But that's not even the point. The point is they're establishing the precedent.
Yeah.
So that could all be fake AI for all we know. But U.S. Southern Command is claiming here now. Let me put this post up there. They're claiming they did this. They're saying Joint Task Force Southern Sphere conducted a lethal kinetic strike on a low-profile vessel operated by designated terrorist organizations. And so last time I checked here, Will, the punishment for drug trafficking is not death. And you need some evidence, and you need due process, and you're not allowed to just whack people. But that's continually what the United States military is doing here now to keep us safe from the drug trafficking that in large part is directed by U.S. Western intelligence.
Yeah, I think you said it well. They're setting the precedent, right? And that's exactly where we're heading, right? It's you're a terrorist, you're an anti-Semite.
3 narco terrorists
so
survived this strike even, but they killed other ones in it.
Not to mention any of the civilians they're taking out in the meantime as they're doing that.
What if me and you go fishing, Will, and we're out there just trying to fish, trying to catch a tuna, and they say, well, those guys are narco terrorists, and they just whack us. Nobody would even know the difference because there isn't, right? And that would just be how it is. That's the story. Well, Will and Sam were trafficking drugs, and we're like, no, we're fishing, trying to catch a tuna because the price of food's so damn high. And they're like, no.
That's right. They do it to schools. So.
On to, did you even know, Will? I didn't know. If I didn't read the news every day, I wouldn't know. I'm not trying to travel. I guess if I was trying to fly commercially, I would know. But it turns out there's a partial government shutdown. I think today's day 35 of the TSA not being funded, and they continually are crying about it. Now they're putting out sympathy videos that a food bank has been set up at Pittsburgh International Airport for TSA officers and Border Patrol who haven't been paid in weeks.
Oh, really? No, I have not heard that. I'm not surprised, right? It's the government and the state. They're completely incompetent. So
there's massive lines at every airport in the country because of this partial government shutdown with the TSA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So if you're out there traveling, it's not going to be a fun time. Not going to be a fun time. By the way, abolish the Department of Homeland Security, abolish TSA. They've caught 0 terrorists at the TSA, and declassify everything about 9/11 is what should actually happen here. But they'd rather play the left-right political game. It's all the Democrats' fault. Will, let me tell you why we can't fund this TSA.
That's right. It ain't gay if you're TSA. So they've fondled me more times than they've caught any kind of terrorists or any kind of leads.
Well, they're saying the righteous public servants, some of them at the TSA have gone to work here now for over a month without pay. I'm like, those are your date rapists that are doing it to date rape people. They're not doing it for the pay, obviously.
That's right. You know, I don't fly that much, but when I do, I completely opt out of those Lagos machines, right? That's 8G. I mean, just another level of X-ray, seeing you completely naked on the screen. They swap those employees out every 20 minutes because of the radiation that comes from using those Lagos machines. So I'll take a fondle. If I have to fly, I'll take a fondle than getting zapped with all that radiation.
Oh man, what? And it's all security theater.
It totally is. Yes.
All security theater, keeping no one safe, making us less safe, actually.
Just it's the perceptibility, right? It's the worldview of we must keep you safe. That's why there's always a constant threat. And that allows them, because people acquiesce and people are complicit to that, they just let it happen.
Economic reporting now. We've spent $8 trillion in the Middle East. That's 100 times the annual federal spending on roads and bridges. Picture how great our country could be if we'd spent that money here at home. Imagine how affordable groceries and housing would be if we hadn't printed all that money and spent it in the Middle East. That's a post by Thomas Massey, and I have a hard time disagreeing with him there.
Sure.
As Middle East infrastructure is blowing up, like right now, they're blowing stuff up as we're doing this show. It's ongoing. The Daily Mail put out this post: food rationing, panic buying, planes grounded, and economic hammer blow far worse than bats. Economists explain nightmare scenario that could just be weeks away due to the Iran war. Oh man, it's going from bad to worse. Listen to this one.
Wow.
Listen to this one. Here's a real good one. The top 1% of American households, which have a minimum net worth of $11.1 million, now collectively own about $25.6 trillion worth of stocks and mutual funds, the same amount as the remaining 99% of the country, and that's per the Federal Reserve. So it's truly the 99% against the 1%.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you could put a decimal and carry that out about 100 times to get to that very small elite group that is benefiting from all of this chaos.
Yes, they are.
And it's not you and I and our economic future, that's for sure. Roughly 111 million people, half of all Americans with a credit card, and 40% of adults are unable to pay off their credit card bills each month, according to More Perfect Union report. it's looking bad. It's looking real bad. And I know you are a big advocate of education, as am I, but the federal education is not looking very well when we have ex CEO of WWE Wrestling running the federal education department, Linda McMahon. Here's what she thankfully is going to take over. She says that the U.S. Treasury will assume operational responsibility for collecting on defaulted federal student loan debt.
Wow.
Yeah, and so let me play you this clip. These people
McMahon.
they're just ruthless criminals.
Isn't it astounding for you to think about the fact that there is $1.7 trillion in this loan portfolio?
Well, she even has her black leather outfit and her Saturn cubes on.
That's a good point. Good point.
Portfolio that is larger, than the collective credit card debt in this country, and more than double the endowments of most universities. I mean, it's an astounding number. And the fact that it would be housed at education to begin with. If you were thinking about starting a student loan program today, clearly I don't think the first thought would be, let's put that in education. I think we would think about Treasury might be the best place if it were coming into government. And so this agreement that we have signed with Treasury is really a great co-administrative program between Ed and Treasury for loan collection. The Biden administration absolutely continued to confuse it. There were 7.
Wow. Unreal.
Unreal, right? There is all your symbolism. Your head of U.S. education, straight up Nazi Saturn worshiper, right there on your Fox News television.
Yep, that's right. McMahon. Wow.
Hey, and look at, what? Yeah, hey, it's predatory lending. Obviously, you signed the contract, so you're responsible. But hey, let's take a look at the predatory lenders here now. And even if you go bankrupt, they won't let you discharge your student loan debt. So what a scam they have run on America's youth here now, Will. And they continue. Yeah, what a racket.
That's right. That's why I'm a big advocate when it comes to conscious parenting, and that's part of it, right? Educating yourself first and then your children on all the alternative outlets to educate. Number one, first and foremost, if you're a teen in that age, you have a responsibility to educate yourself. But kids have been so conditioned from a young age to just be in this forced indoctrination. If you even give them the natural, true, and real aspect of your education is in your hands, what would you like to do with that? Or what would you like to learn? Right? Without no pressure or anything, kids have no clue because they don't have any idea about themselves. And that's what all of the formative years, the adolescence, and the coming of age time period is getting to know yourself, and then you can find your direction from that. They just want to put them right in that meat grinder of 12 years and then right into college. So absolutely, it is a racket and a scam, 100%.
Unbelievable. And being sold how great it is, the Treasury is now taking over collections on your student loan debt that you can't pay because you got conned and you can't even find a job now because AI took it.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
More on the economy. Trump says on the Strait of Hormuz, which we've covered here extensively, all that goes through there. Fertilizer goes through there. Gases that they're making all these chips to build the technocracy go through there. It's been estimated by the United Nations that millions of people are going to starve to death due to this closing of the Strait of Hormuz. Trump don't give a damn about any of the rest of the world. He doesn't give a damn about America. So he says we don't use the Strait of Hormuz. But that's not the point, Trump. The whole rest of the world, 85% of the rest of the world is depending on all of the supplies going through there. He don't give a damn because he don't even give a damn about Americans.
Yeah, that's right. 100%. It almost seems like in his first run, they propped him up as this big savior, the savior complex, right? Now he's just the village idiot. It's like, okay, just say your talking points, and he just spits out, those points. That's it. And still, he's got these followers and this cult like support. So.
It's
crazy.
amazing. What do you think? Is Trump's a dark occultist, right?
I think anybody you see on TV in the mainstream is part of that system at the lowest level. They are just a figurehead.
He's
They are
the
a puppet
front man, right?
Correct. They are there because the real social engineers want the public to see them.
But he
That's
knows
the
how to
face.
cast that spell, right?
Yeah, for sure.
He casts that spell on the unknowing public. Here he is. Here's Trump today on gas prices. And then we'll take a look at, he says, I expected worse. I really thought oil prices would go much higher. When's the last time Trump paid for a gallon of gas?
Giving a nuclear weapon to terrorist stuff, and we're knocking the hell out of them. Their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their leaders are gone, their anti-aircraft is gone, everything's gone. And no, I expected worse. I really thought that oil prices would go much higher when I did.
We haven't seen nothing yet. It's going to take a minute for this to unwind. They just blew up all kinds of refineries, all kind of oil infrastructure in Saudi Arabia and Qatar and Iran, in UAE. Like, dude, here's the AAA national, and it went up like 8 cents from yesterday. Here's AAA national gas price average, and so we're up at $3.91, and where Will and I am at over here in California, they're beating the shit out of us at $5.65 here, and we've covered and explained a lot of the extra high price in California is due to state taxes, regulations for the environment, and so on and so on. We've done a big breakdown itemizing it all out, but still now national average without all the overreach by the state of California like we're suffering here, $3.91. Well, I guess MAGA loves it.
Grab your ankles, MAGA.
Oh my God. Well, we're already there in California, so welcome to the party.
Yeah, I just paid. I think it was like $5.19 at the Quick Stop, which is like the cheapest gas. It's like,
well, let me ask you this, because people always say that they say that I look like Gavin Newsom. Did they tell you that too?
oh my gosh, I get that so much.
Right? They're going to say
Yes.
all white boys look the same here. So I was going to say you could be a body double for Gavin Newsom.
That's right. Yeah, it's the hair.
If you shave the beard, you could be a body double for Gavin Newsom, I think.
I probably could.
I don't mean to insult you. I'm just saying.
No, for sure. I don't get offended.
Because a lot of people are telling me that, hey, you look like Gavin Newsom. I'm like, what? You're trying to piss me off? Like,
I just got some new headshot pictures, and I sent them to my family, and they all said, "Oh yeah, you look like Gavin Newsom." I'm like, "Oh great."
So do you think
Headshot.
the way it looks right now is this all Trump's failures are setting up Newsom to be president in 2028? What do you think?
Yeah, I
it's
think-
looking like it.
I think that's definitely a big plausibility, for sure.
And the rest of the country don't understand. We understand because we've been living under this our whole life, or at least like the last 8 years under the Newsom governorship administration here in California. And it's just beyond the pale of failure and corruption.
Yeah, 100% beyond. But
Beyond.
he would be a perfect puppet to put in there. Like I could see them doing that for sure.
Right?
And
Man.
I think this, part of kind of the dissolution of
The pendulum
government.
swings, right? The pendulum swings. And so we got burnout with George Bush's, all his wars. So here comes slick talking Obama, anti-war guy. And so he got in there, and nobody really. It was like, yeah, we're sick of Bush. Here's this guy. He's a good talker. He's half white, and so good enough for me. He's anti-war. Turns out he dropped more bombs than Bush. But hey, at the time, and so we got burned out on Obama after all his BS after 8 years. And then who do we get? Trump, right? And so here's a new guy. He's not a politician. He's a billionaire outside the system. They sold it. He's a right-wing populist that cares about the people and cuts through all these lies, calling out the Iraq War, calling out 9/11, all this stuff. Everybody lived through it. They know. And so the pendulum swing back a little bit, and then they threw Biden in there, and then everybody got sick of Biden, and then we get Trump again. And everybody's already sick of Trump by the time, if he doesn't get impeached and goes the whole 4 years, everybody's going to be so sick to the back of their teeth. Then in comes a Democrat saying they're all the same routine, right? Everything Trump did, we're against it. And by that time, the large majority are going to agree, but they're going to be lying too, because the one world government agenda continues.
Yeah, I could definitely see that being a potentiality, them doing that. Someone like, Newsom, the opposite polarity. I think ultimately they actually want to go to when they achieve that technocratic state, an AI implemented government. Right? They're doing so. The public in large is starting to get very distrusting of just traditional government, the two-party system. So they're going to phrase it as in humans are, evil by nature. They make mistakes constantly. Here we have an AI that will run everything perfectly. So that's another possibility as well.
Yeah, I think they are doing that. They put in a bunch of AI with DOJ. That was the real reason for DOJ, who was going to save us from the waste, fraud, and abuse. The federal government is just out of control. Well, actually, they didn't do any of that, and they put AI, Palantir Foundry operating system in the government. It's what they actually did. Oh, man. Okay, where are we at here? I want to take a commercial break at the top of the hour here so Will can plug and I can plug. But before we get to there, we're on the Epstein cover-up. I guess let's start there. We may have to break in the middle of it here. But, hey, Nancy Mace, Congresswoman out of South Carolina, she's trying to make political capital out of this. Obviously, when her party and her president, she's a Republican, Trump, are front and center, she leaves that part out, so we'll forgive her for that. But she says his DOJ, Trump's DOJ, this is the biggest cover-up in American history. They continue to cover up the Epstein files and not comply with the Epstein Transparency Act. The DOJ, Pam Bondi, all these jokers are breaking the law as we speak here now, Will, by not complying with the law.
Yeah, I think that this is also part of the polarization dialectic that they're doing, right? And they have it, and the Epstein files is just the tip of the iceberg, right? So it's made there to get people riled up. Everything is planned precisely. Even the public's reaction was already taken into accountability for these actuaries that they have behind the scenes. So it's just, I think it's going right on schedule, to be honest, and a part of that is getting people infuriated.
Nancy Mace says it has been over a month since we wrote the United States Attorney General's office for the Southern District of New York. Still no answer. We simply requested access to unredacted memo on the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirators. The DOJ claims the memos came to them already redacted from the Southern District of New York. They can't even write letters to each other in the government without it being redacted now. So they can't communicate because it's all redacted due to national security. It's just so beyond the pale of ridiculous. There's the post by Nancy Mace there.
Yeah, that's total occult mockery as well, right? Like, okay, yeah, we'll release these documents, and 90% of it's redacted, and you only get a small chunk. They are literally throwing that in the public's face, just like, yeah, we do this, we eat people, we're these type of people, and we're just gonna give you a little bit of taste, and they just know people aren't going to really do anything about it. Sure, you're going to get people that are going to, scream and stomp their feet and try to go through the political routes, but there's no action there. There's no solution. So
no prosecutions of the Epstein co-conspirators.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's quite a sight to see.
Yeah, they all should be in gallows, 100%.
The Guardian put out a post, published an article. They say attention will swing back. Epstein outrage unlikely to subside despite Trump's Iran war. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, they seem optimistic about it. At least in the UK and Europe, they act like they care publicly, right? They've forced major resignations. Well, they defrocked essentially Prince William, right? They kicked him out of the royal family publicly, at least. So they at least act like they're ashamed or something. Here in America, they're like, nope, line them up go over there and fight Iran now. Right. Like what?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, just more from the oversight committee there. Democrats, Republicans fighting amongst each other about it. Here's Congressman Robert Garcia talking about Pam Bondi's fake briefing on Epstein because she's being subpoenaed to testify to the House Oversight Committee. And of course, it's behind closed doors, and the cover-up continues here.
The first question that was asked was to confirm the Attorney General would come in under oath on the subpoena, be deposed by the committee so we can make it public to the American people, and she refused to answer that question. She was asked additional other questions by other members of the committee, but we kept coming back to this question of, is she actually going to appear? Because it became very clear quickly that they had set up this kind of fake hearing or briefing. There was no briefing, by the way. She didn't brief us on anything. She just began saying, okay, I'm ready to answer your questions. They told us about this hearing yesterday. There was no format provided to us, so we show up for a briefing, then it's set up like a hearing, and it's clearly the impression being left.
The biggest cover-up in American history.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of, it's not really that mind-blowing to me, to be honest. I mean, the politics, that political arena is pure theater for people's perception. Just look how much stuff is going on, even with the Charlie Kirk stuff still happening, the war. There's like a net for all different, it's 31 flavors, right? It's all to capture people's attention and focus. And that's why I still think that infrastructure of the AI technocratic state, and somebody I saw briefly, someone posted pre-crime, right? That's going to be an aspect of it as well, right? So they're going to be knocking on your door going, yeah, you've been thinking about it, and we think you might do that next week and just lock you up. Minority report status. They're laying that infrastructure because, yeah. It's always what they're not saying and what they're doing behind the scenes. That's definitely what's in question.
There's more on the cover-up from Massey.
First day the files were available to me, unredacted, ostensibly. Rokana and I went. We spent 2 hours. We targeted 40 documents, and we found a variety of things. Number one, some of these documents have redactions underneath of the redactions. That's very frustrating.
Well, redactions underneath the redactions.
So they're not completely unredacted. But in 3 of the documents, we did find revelations. For instance, we found that they had covered up Leslie Wexner's name as a co-conspirator. In another document, There were 18 names. 2 were victims. 2 were Epstein and Maxwell. And then there were 14 other names. And there was no real reason to redact them. In one of the examples, they redacted an email address and it didn't have a name. So I took the email address, I didn't know whose email address it was, and I put it back into the DOJ's computers and searched the files for more instances of that email address. And what I found is it belonged to a sultan in the United Arab Emirates. And so within a few hours, I got the
We covered that guy. That guy had to resign. But yeah, even the redactions are redacted. What?
Yeah,
Okay,
what a joke.
It's not funny. It's funny that this is gallows humor here. Now it's deadly serious. The victims, and it's ongoing. The same. They're doing the same routines that Epstein was doing. Maybe even he's still running it. Who knows? But that same operation is still going on. You better believe it. So.
Oh yeah. 100%. That's why I say it's really a cult mockery. Jeffrey Epstein was just one of many, right? I don't think if people are shocked about what's in the Epstein files, that's just a drop in the bucket compared to what's really going on.
We'll go over some of the most shocking here. But let's take our live commercial break here at the top of the hour. I'm going to go ahead and plug, and then we'll have you plug all your stuff. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com. Get yourself a holograph sticker, a white background sticker. We have a clear sticker over there. We have the stickers. We got all your gear, baseball caps with the logo, T-shirts, custom T-shirts, coffee mugs, all kind of different stuff at weaponizednews.com/shop. The link's in the description below this video. Help support independent reporting and analysis brought to you 5 days a week. We're streaming live 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern, weaponizednews.com/shop. Give us a donation if you like. If you don't want to patron the store as well, we have Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, link in the description below, our Bitcoin wallet address, everything in the description below this video. You can, hey, and if you don't got any money, understand the economy's rough here. Trust the lying government and the Federal Reserve. Just kidding. Give us that like, share, subscribe. All that is free for you. We do appreciate the Federal Reserve notes, as long as we could still maybe scrape together 6 of them for a gallon of gas in California. Anyway, however you may choose to support us, it's much appreciated. Subscribe if you want to be a paid subscriber. Again, everything's free here at Weaponized News. I don't put anything behind the paywall. That's why I was kicked off Rockfin, actually, because I wouldn't charge for the reporting here. But the links to almost everything we talk about are at Weaponized News Substack, and that's the value. You can become a paid subscriber, even though it's all free. Help support the mission here of Weaponized News, independent reporting and analysis, and we're bringing on great guests like Will Keller here and many other great guests. So all of your support, any which way you choose, is much appreciated. Give us that like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. All of that's free. Go ahead and plug away. Will, how do people support your work?
Yeah, I mean, everything's at my official website, willkeller.com. Very easy to remember. It's just my name. All my presentations and my content. And, I have my donation page if you want to make a donation. If not, share. People from my channels, I want to get Sam. We want to get him some more subscriptions on YouTube. So go ahead and follow him. That would be greatly appreciated. And just if you go through my presentations or my interviews, I try to do live streams as much as possible. Get into everything from metaphysics, philosophy, morality, and natural law. Like, share, and comment. I definitely answer my messages, and you can reach me through my website itself, willkeller.com.
willkeller.com. Awesome website too, by the way.
Thank you.
Very, very nice graphics on that website. Everybody go check out willkeller.com. Okay. Thank you for bearing with us during that commercial break. We just gave you an hour free with no commercials at all. So welcome back to the second half of Weaponized News on this March 20th, 2026 edition. I'm joined by Will Keller. We're going over day 21 now of the Iran war, the cover-up of the Epstein files, and the season of sacrifice. We're going to get into that here now. I wanted to show Will some of the most sordid details here about the Epstein files and get his take on some of this insanity. But they're straight up talking about all of the mind control here. If I could find that one specifically here now. Well, there's a couple issues I wanted to bring up with you, but here's one. This was it's one of these uptake. People are telling the government, they're like, hey, they're doing this torture, they're doing this, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, yeah, we already know we're the ones doing it. But anyway, this came out extremely disturbing in the Epstein files: directed energy weapon attacks and mind control technology. Here it is. And here's the file number. Everybody can go look this up in the Epstein files themselves. Hundreds of pages in the Epstein files describe government mind control experiments. Buried in the Epstein document dump is a massive file detailing directed energy and mind control technology used on people without consent, government human experimentation causing permanent psychological damage, lists symptoms, anxiety, insomnia from graphic imagery of rape and abduction, fear of relationships, constant stress, isolation from family. And they talk right here about, and this is what they're doing to these people that are claiming they're targeted individuals. Mm-hmm. This is, they discuss the technology they're using on them in here. Right here, they talk about all of the side effects of this abuse. Quite something there, Will.
Yeah. You know, I've had targeted individuals reach out to me over the years, you know, here and there, and it's that's obviously a real thing, 100%, right? So to see something like that in the files and almost get slightly vindicated, even though that's nothing close. It's not even justice whatsoever, because nothing is coming out of the exposure of the Epstein files, right? But still, I mean, seeing that kind of stuff, it's just, people have been talking about this just for years and years, and it really is an apocalypse. That's what the files are, because apocalypse means a revealing, a great revealing, and that's
a lifting of the veil, right? It's a
correct.
Lifting of the veil.
Yep.
So we are
Apocalyptine. Yep.
More on this craziness, the eugenics as bloodline purification. In here, they're talking about they are Jewish supremacists in here, and they openly refer to the rest of us, everybody that's not part of their club, as the Goyim, right? And it's openly talked about between Epstein correspondence in many emails. And I have them, a bunch of them right here, and I won't even read them, but I'll just scroll through them. Goyim, there's one here, Goyim. That's how they're referring to all of us. You understand? Because they are Jewish supremacists. Goyim again, and they're just making fun of that Goyim again right there. How we're just, we're beneath them. They don't even see us as human. Goyim again. And it just goes on and on and on in these files. They don't even see us as human, Will. They see us as subhuman. And they openly discuss it in the correspondence in the Epstein emails.
Yep, 100%. Anybody that does any kind of extensive research into the dark occult, you could check out works, even like Anton LaVey, even though he's like a primer. But Michael Aquino is a good one to get into. He's got, I think, 4 books that I highly recommend people check out. A worldview will emerge that, yes, we are subhuman, less than even animals. And I animals they're great, but their outlook on what we are slaves to them on the most abominable level, and they could care less what happens to us.
they're using us goyim as part of their transhumanist eugenics experiments. And that's all up in all of these emails. They were doing crazy experiments at New Mexico as well, not just Epstein Island, New Mexico Zorro Ranch. They were doing, who knows, just insane transhumanist experiments, talking about farming the babies, farming the babies. And it just goes on and on.
People that got the needlecraft, right? The
miracle, yeah.
They got a little piece of Epstein in them.
Maybe they're talking about genetically engineering babies. They're talking about that is your eugenics transhumanism. Birth babies for the black market, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And you saw where right there's that email, but you saw where Epstein Zorro Ranch Trust won $80 million New Mexico state lottery. Did you see that one?
Oh, no way. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's confirmed. 100% confirmed. Right. And so have you seen, I know you're a deep researcher in these things. Do you think secret societies, we'll just say, use the state lottery system as a money laundering payoff type of network?
Oh, yeah.
It certainly appears so here now with this $80 million Zorro Ranch Trust win in the New Mexico state lottery. Right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. They definitely do that.
Bill Gates was big. Our former doctor during the bat time, he's big in these, he's all up in Epstein files here now.
Yeah. Yeah, this goes beyond even Epstein. I mean, further back, right? I mean, you look at the eugenics programs that started here in California, right here in the Bay Area, in Palo Alto, Silicon Valley, right? Before it was Silicon Valley. That's where it started, bringing in Operation Paperclip, bring those Nazi scientists in there to continue their eugenics research. So, I mean, just horrible experiments even with that. Planned Parenthood is another one. So yeah, it goes.
It's bad. It's bad. Up to the mid 80s, I believe, here in California, they were still sterilizing women in California state prison.
That's correct. Yeah, good point, man.
That's straight up eugenics sterilization programs here. But we care about the women. Will, let me tell you. Email between Epstein and Bannon, they mention gene-edited babies here. Here's the email. From Epstein to Bannon, and they cite, and they're sending this link to this article from sciencemagazine.org, gene editing babies.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real bad. They're doing ritualistic sacrifices. It definitely appears they're doing fear-based, trauma-based mind control. Did you see those images of the dentist chair and all these masks?
I saw a little bit. Yeah.
So it looks like they're putting people in this dentist chair, putting them under some type of sedative drugs, and wearing these masks and doing fear-based, trauma-based mind control, MK Ultra style on them.
They used to use LSD in some of those
they
earlier
may very well
experiments.
be using those drugs, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what transhumanism and immortality rituals, they're doing that. They're doing the blood changes, the blood drinking, the blood transfusions. All that has come out in here now. What do you think about that? Do you think that works to change out your blood like it's oil change in a car? Do you think that's actually helping them?
A lot of the crap that they definitely believe in some of those rituals are, they kind of, they go a lot deeper than even the surface level. I think a lot of the Epstein files, when people read these, they get shell shock, which is like a form of, it's what they used to call PTSD before it was called PTSD, right? It's like, here's some big information, but you're not at a certain educated level or awareness, so you don't know, you can't comprehend what it actually means. And that's where a lot of people are. Now, there's an interesting effect that I've seen that has happened from the people reading these Epstein files, is that Christianity has skyrocketed. Right? People see things that resemble satanic or Satanism, and it reinforces their biblical belief, but completely ignorant to what Satanism truly is and actually is. So there's that lack of comprehension in this kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, so blood transfusions, sacrifices, the eating of flesh, all of this is directly corresponds to the etheric realms, to higher realms that most people haven't explored or even educated themselves on. So, yeah, I mean, most people in the alternative community go as far as adrenochrome, right? But even then, they kind of get that wrong as well.
They were teaching Epstein how to make, quote, jerky at a restaurant called The Cannibal. And they're using that code word jerky in these correspondence a lot. And so it's certainly looking like jerky. They're talking about human meat that they've turned into jerky here now, and talking about special diets of it. And it's just, wow, man. Continuing here. I don't know how much I've already gone into a lot of this. Let's see. Oh, cream cheese is another code word they're using, where it looks like a elite dark occultist delicacy is eating the entrails of babies. Yeah, that they're calling cream cheese.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's many references there. Let's see. How about abuse as sacrificial acts? What do you think about that, Will?
Sacrificial acts?
Abuse as sacrificial acts, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, this is all about creating trauma, right? The energetic field that invokes is extremely powerful. It's just, building like an antenna to communicate with certain entities. And this is why abuse is always incorporated into SRA, satanic ritual abuse. So
aren't they, the way I'm seeing it now is they're, the abused are also the abusers in many cases, and looking like they're MK Ultra victims and abusers.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's definitely a factor. 100%. It's something like that. To pull yourself out and heal, you got to have, first and foremost, you got to have the care and willpower to do that, and then you have to educate yourself on that, because these are otherworldly realms and attributes that come from, that are entangled with that. So we're dealing with the mental realm, the etheric realms, the astral realms, and all of that sounds woo-woo to most people, right? Until you have some level and some basis of what that actually means. So if you don't heal, then absolutely you're going to transfer, and that you become the controller, the oppressor, and also propagate trauma, etc. That's what the whole current modern civilization is. It's generational mind control, intergenerational trauma bonding and transference. So there's a science. We're talking about a science in nature, and this aspect is the inverted, or what you would call the dark shadow aspects of that science. But it works just like a certain science or formula.
Here's some of those drugs they were using right here. the trumpet plants.
Datura. Yeah.
They're otherwise known as devil's breath. Angel's trumpet produces scopolamine, also known as devil's breath. The drug wipes out the memory and makes victims completely compliant. And they were referencing this drug or this flower in the Epstein files. I believe they were using that as part of their mind control operations, Will.
I have some of those in pots right outside my house.
Oh, damn, watch out.
Yeah, it's also known as a moonflower as well. There's two different types of species that are very similar. The moonflowers look exactly like that, and they bloom, and the flower opens up only on a full moon at the exact time. So the whole flowering cycle is the 30 days on the lunar calendar. It's a very beautiful flower, but yes, it also has certain entheogen properties. It's also poisonous to animals as well, and at larger doses for humans, it can be very toxic and poisonous. That has a paralyzing type of effect for sure.
And making you more suggestible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I haven't experimented with it, but I would not be surprised. It's interesting that it's known as an angel's trumpet, and then they're calling it the devil's breath, right? So
we do appreciate the duality there. Let's see. Yeah, there's just a lot of this crazy stuff that you would say, yeah, I don't believe it, but then here it is in writing in their correspondence between everybody in the Epstein files there. And just that here's these images. Here's this image of the dentist chair there with the masks. This was at Epstein's Island right here. So this is the stuff of nightmares right here.
Wow.
Imagine being shopped in that chair and having these maniacs and with these masks on, chanting, doing their occult ritual.
You know, they had several scenes in the Stranger Things TV series where MK Ultra people were and other types of ritual abuse in a dentist-like chair all throughout that series. A lot of good symbolism and subliminal messaging. Obviously, it's based upon the whole MK Ultra from the 60s, 70s.
Feels like it's ongoing.
Oh, 100%.
Here is, and then we'll get off Epstein and get into the season of sacrifice, and we still have some more war coverage. But let me show you this image. What do you think of this? This is alleged painting by Maria Farmer depicting her abusers. Take a look at this image.
Huh.
Lot going. They even redacted her drawing. See that?
Wow.
And he's got the Saturn box on his head. The whole routine.
Yeah.
That's extremely disturbing.
Very interesting. Yeah, that is disturbing. You could probably study that for a long time to pick up kind of clues on that. You know, I'll throw this out there too. Like, keep in mind too that there's probably a lot of stuff in those files that was placed there intentionally, right? It's like anything that comes from the government, you cannot trust, right? There's always going to be a mixture of maybe truth and, you know, deception for sure.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into season of sacrifice. Let's take a look. This is where we're at on this spring equinox. Here we go, Will. What do you think? All these were just coincidences. There's no conspiracy, and things just happen bad on these dates because everybody's out in the sun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's right. It's
so where's the slide? Let's give credit. The slide's from Passio?
That's correct. Yeah, Mark Passio created these slides originally. He has several episodes on the season of sacrifice, and he goes very deep into some of the dark occult meanings of this 40-day time period. So yeah, this is from, I can't remember what episode it is. He has, I think it's like 160 something in his podcast was the first episode, and then he revisited it in I think in the 230s. You can go to his website, which I highly recommend everyone do. It's just a wealth of information and must-know data. WhatOnEarthIsHappening.com. You can actually, he has a search bar as well. Type in Season of Sacrifice, and all his episodes that were referenced will come up.
So all of these events seem to fall in that 40-day period, and many false flags here, right? The feds, Oklahoma City, Waco. It just, man, look at all these events. Any events particularly you want to talk about here? How do we frame all this?
Well, I think it's good. There are some other events too, even because that slide is kind of, oh yeah, well, he's got it to all the way 2024. So that is the updated one. The pandemic started in the season of sacrifice too, officially started. So there's lots of events, but it's good to understand what the season of sacrifice is. In my latest live stream, I talk about it on both aspects, the light and the dark itself. So this is spring. This is the official New Year, right? We are in New Year right now, today, right? This is 3/20, and of course, it's a 3-day time period, so 20, 21st, and 22nd. This is when the sun is on the 0 degrees of the equator of the horizon, and that's what equinox means. It means equal day and equal night. So why is this the actual New Year, right? The Gregorian calendar made it December 31st, which I've heard some arguments there, but a full cycle is life to life. So winter, fall and winter, right, is the season of death. Everything dies back. It's the cold season. It's very hard for a lot of people. And then, of course, the spring and summer is the season of life, because there's planting seeds, there's harvest, the animals come out, it's warmer, it's easier to thrive and live. And of course, this is for the northern hemisphere of the planet itself. But we have to remember the social engineers at its core is part of an old religion itself, right? And this is very ancient, and it is not based on any of the cultural religions. Judaism, Islam, Christianity. Those three religions they come from older religions, and that is primarily the solar cult, or the solar religion, which is the direct worship of the sun itself. And there's also the lunar and the stellar, which obviously Christianity would be the solar, and Islam is the lunar, and Judaism is the stellar of the stars, Saturn being one of them. But why this is important for the springtime is because this is the time of renewal and life. It's new beginnings. In ancient times, including the old religion, you would give energy to the land, to the earth, as reverence or an energetic payment for a bountiful harvest, right? This is where you plant the seeds. Now, yeah, I agree with an energetic sacrifice. We don't need to actually spill blood, but yeah, you put your quote unquote blood, sweat, tears into planting and harvesting for food, or creating. It could be a podcast or any type of venture that you want to do. This is the prime time to do that in the natural cycle. Right? The cycle of new beginnings. The energy is potent in a certain way, and that way is to create new things. Now, the dark occultists and the social engineers, they venerate, because they are anti-creation, anti-God, anti-nature, they venerate the inverted aspect of the solar tradition, which is the black sun itself. It represents the blotting out of the light of creation, which is the actual sun, right? S-U-N. That the actual sun that gives everything life, right? And energy. The black sun itself could represent an eclipse. It is the inverted principle of darkness, and they very much believe that you must give a sacrifice, and they want that sacrifice literally in blood and pain and trauma. They do this they want a bountiful harvest, but they obviously want that in the terms of human slavery to advance their agenda. So during this time, we see a lot of, some serious events, and these events come with certain goals. One, to spill blood, to have huge actual death as a sacrifice, but also to understand that they want to capture the perception and awareness of the public, because perception itself is a great resource. If you can manipulate and influence someone's perception and awareness on how they view the world, then you absolutely can influence their behavior and the choices that they make. So this 40-ish day time period is very energetically potent, and it's good to, number one, have the awareness of that, and also have discernment of what is going on and what could potentially happen within the next several weeks.
It's looking bad here with boots on the ground. It's looking like another sacrifice here. Potentially U.S. Marines heading into Iran to try to free up the Strait of Hormuz, apparently, is what it's looking like their mission will be. And so they're lining up to be sacrificed for Rockefeller oil oligarchs and war profiteers, on top of all of their occult, esoteric power they're getting out of this.
Yeah, 100%. Remember that the spring and the summer is all about activeness. I mean, just people can just think about their own life and, where they live. It's warmer. Yay. It's not snow. It's not winter, which is a time for internal work. It's darkness. It's going inside. Spring and summer is activeness. There's also some occult high holidays, right? April 20th being, Hitler's birthday as well, which a lot of these events have been on 420 itself. And then, of course, May Day, May 1st, which is also Beltane, which is the jumping off of the summer solstice, which is also an activating time.
322 is in 2 days, right?
Great point. Yeah, Skull and Bones Day, 322. This is, that's from the clandestine lodge from Yale University, right? The Order of Skull and Bones, which essentially is the order of death. And that's why it is the skull and bones. You have the skull representing the intellect, not intelligence, the intellect, analytical mind. And then you have the leg and arm bone crossed, which represents action itself. So, of course, the one thing that is missing is the heart. And the heart is care, it's empathy, and they're not obviously about that. So the skull and bones is about activating a certain order in the world, and it's not for our benefit.
What do you make of this? This is a post by former Congresswoman Cynthia McKinney. She's been exposing a lot of corruption for a long time. She posted this one. This Iran Islamic Republic, and this is the Iranian parliament, and it's a pyramid with 33 windows. What do you make of this? What do you make of this crazy stuff?
Interesting. Yeah, I have not seen that before. Yeah, I mean, it's encoded all throughout history, the occult symbolism, right? And we have to remember, I always do this caveat. I know you've heard me say it, Sam, is that the occult simply is hidden knowledge, right? The word occult is from oculus. It means eye, hidden from the eye. Well, that eye is obviously, we're talking about knowledge itself, right? You could say it's the third eye. It's the eye that internalizes and learns for consciousness. So, of course, what the wielder does with this information is very important, right? You could use this knowledge of nature, of natural law, and of the human psyche. You could use it to influence, manipulate, control, or you could use it for self-development and for ethical and moral means, right? So we see 33 can be, in that context, that looks like it's something nefarious, right? But when you understand like a tradition like Freemasonry, it has both light and dark. Freemasonry being one of the most potent development traditions that anyone can learn when once correctly understood. It is an incredible pathway. But of course, when you understand the language and the symbols, you could see how it's being used, and it's definitely not for any type of positive, uplifting development.
They're just humble civil servants, Will.
They always have a reference back to, yeah, seriously. There's always a reference back to kind of Babylonian, Sumerian, or Cometian or Egyptian times, right? And that's because, well, it opens up a bigger topic of, human intervention, origins, and these old gods and the old religion itself.
Mystery Babylon.
That's right.
Okay, let's get back to some more war coverage here. Well, here's Trump. Do we need to expose Trump anymore? I don't know. He had the vassal state. He embarrassed Japan Prime Minister lady yesterday. Japan is a vassal state, and they came and did a humiliation ritual essentially at the White House. They did a big dinner last night, and big mega donor Miriam Adelson and everybody's favorite Mr. Technocracy Palantir CEO Alex Karp were there. I guess we'll play the short clip so you can just put it on the record. These are the characters behind the scenes, some of them anyway, that are directing U.S. foreign policy, sending off our sons and daughters to die in Iran. And so you could see them there. Of course, Miriam Adelson, ultra Zionist, donated over like $240 million to Trump's campaign publicly. That we know, who knows what they've done behind the scenes that we're not privy to. And then, of course, Alex Karp, they're profiteering off of creating kill lists using AI, targeting Palestinians for sure. And you and I will, I'm sure, will be on that list if we're not already in the very near future.
At some point.
And what are you doing with your life if you're not on the Palantir kill list?
Not doing enough.
Not doing enough, for sure. So that went on last night here. Let's see. This guy, the Habot, they're saying, Habot, these aardvark supremacist group, they're saying that, well, if you criticize them at all, then you're going to be censored and maybe even be arrested here in America soon.
Yeah, that is starting up. Incredible.
Noahide laws.
I said it during the pandemic, right? People really need to consider what their line in the sand is, because order followers showing up to my door to try to, take me down for something like that, then we're playing hollow point tag right on my porch.
The new head, the new Khomeini, the old Khomeini's son, who's now the supreme leader of Iran, is warning. He's warning right now that Turkey and Oman may be attacked, and they'll blame it on Iran, but it's actually the Zionist enemy that has attacked them. He's openly warning that they may carry out false flag attacks to blame Iran in the Middle East.
Wow.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised in that either.
I mean, isn't it pretty simple? They could look at it. Do they benefit from attacking this target? Yes or no? You know what I mean? If it's a clear no, then obviously they didn't do it. I mean, it's painful. Here's propaganda coming out of the Department of War, the meme of the day here. Not much posting out of the Department of War, actually. As they are carrying out acts of piracy all over the seas now. Thank you, United States Navy, and your partners out there, France. So they're bombing everywhere. Aardvark Land is bombing Syria. They're bombing Lebanon. They're bombing Iran. They're bombing the entire area there. As we continue to report, the State Department, that's America's State Department today, the munitions makers are very happy. The war profiteers. The State Department approves arms sales to UAE, Kuwait, and Jordan. Today, U.S. demands trillions. So this is straight up gangster capitalism. War's a racket. Just like Smedley Butler told us all those years ago, gangster capitalism, they're running a racketeering operation with giant U.S. military guns pointed at everybody. U.S. demands trillions in war ransom from GCC allies. And so they're saying, we'll protect you now from Iran attacking you with our bases there. Because Iran, at first it was like, Iran's gone crazy. They're attacking all their neighbors. No, they're targeting specific U.S. assets that are on their neighbors' land. So now the Trump administration, Trump extorts the Gulf for more money. If you want the war to continue, $5 trillion. If you want it to stop, $2.5 trillion is what this one report from an Omani journalist and international affairs researcher had done in an interview. He's talking about it with it's not translated into English, or I'd play the clip, but that's essentially what he's saying is Trump is pointing a gun at all of these Middle East countries and saying, pay me or the war will continue. And that's where we're at.
That's government, organized crime.
Organized crime, straight up. It's an organized crime syndicate, and it's getting naked at this point. The emperor has no clothes.
That's right. Yep.
Iraq declares force majeure on foreign operated oil fields as everything's getting blown up. Iraq has declared force majeure on foreign operated oil fields as escalating regional conflict and restricted tanker movements through the Strait of Hormuz disrupt the country's ability to export crude oil. So they're saying, hey, due to, and this is going to turn into a giant, who knows how long in the courts. They're saying we can't fulfill our contracts because they're blowing everything up, essentially force majeure. But it has to be an act of God, maybe. I don't know. So we'll see how this sorts out. But essentially, Iraq's not going to be able to fulfill their oil contracts. So Switzerland bans exports. Switzerland is still remaining neutral. They ban exports of war material to the United States, citing neutrality. Switzerland is like, we're out. We don't want no part of this. China urges end to West Asia war, warns of global economic fallout. China's foreign ministry said today, history and reality have repeatedly shown the world that force is not the solution to problems, and armed conflict will only breed new hatred. I can't say I disagree with China on that quote from him. What do you think, Will?
China making sense.
Mm-hmm. China making a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much like firewall information being fed, right? Every country gets their own propaganda that's curtailed to their own country, right? So, but I mean, on that specific statement, yeah, for sure. I mean,
it's hard to get information out of the Middle East. Everything's heavily censored there.
yeah.
The UAE has arrested 109 people over posting images on the internet of the fallout from the attacks. So there is no free speech there. They'll arrest you for
Wow.
posting a photo of the fire that the bomb that just dropped caused, and they'll say there is no bombing. Everything is wonderful. And how can you prove any different? Because you got arrested for posting it. So there you go. Everything is wonderful there, according to Trump. Yeah, ongoing strikes in Syria now. In Lebanon, Israel's ethnic cleansing, and now on the verge of genociding the Lebanese, as the Gaza genocide is ongoing as well here now.
Wow.
Here is, and so due to the censorship, I show this every day. Well, don't confuse this with the sex offender map in Israel. This is the missile warning. So they say everything's fine, but they're still sounding these missile warning sirens. And this is one of the latest updates about potential incoming missile attacks. Not the sex offender list, because they do overlap, essentially.
Really?
Yeah, in large part.
Yeah.
Okay, continuing. Hezbollah has announced, Trump just told us the war's over. Earlier today, in the last 24 hours, Hezbollah has announced 39 new operations. So, yeah. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard has launched waves of attacks as part of Operation True Promise for wave number 67, 68, 69, and ongoing, probably 70 during this show right now. It's ongoing right now. Like
Operation True Promise. It's like, it kills me where they get these names from.
True Promise 4.
Oh, 4.
True Promise 4. So it's ongoing. It's ongoing, but they tell us everything's wonderful there. ABC News reports, citing U.S. officials, that 232 U.S. troops have been wounded since the start of the Iran war, most suffering traumatic brain injuries, and with 10 classified as serious injuries. U.S. troops, we are taking injuries and casualties here now. The Lebanese Ministry of Health has announced since March 2nd, when they really started going after Lebanon, it's been an ongoing action there. But since March 2nd, 1,021 Lebanese have been killed and 2,641 injured in Lebanon. And
Wow.
they're still whacking Palestinians as well. 14-year-old there in Gaza, injured by heavy artillery fire and in critical condition in the northern Gaza Strip. And so they're continuing the genocide against the Palestinians amongst all the larger war going on. Well,
Horrific. Yeah, he's seeing some of the photos of just the territory just absolutely, I mean, obliterated. It's just, I mean, it's horrendous.
it's the UN has described it as apocalyptic land hellscape, is what they've turned Gaza into.
Wow.
Apocalyptic hellscape.
Yeah.
And we don't even know the full extent because they won't let international journalists even in there. We know we get a little footage from drones, but the full extent is still not known and probably won't be for years. The official number admitted by the IDF of dead Palestinians is over 70,000, right? And so probably double that, maybe triple it. We don't know. We don't know, but it's real, real bad. It's real, real bad, Will.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Let me play you this crazy clip from the War Channel, Fox News, where they're saying, "Thank you for bombing us." This is pretty wild right here.
You have the people who were talking to Iranians in Iran saying, they're most afraid of the bombs stopping because if the bombs stop, they believe the United States might be done.
Absolutely. And when they have the moment to tweet, they're tweeting and saying, please don't stop, because...
Oh my gosh.
Please don't stop bombing me.
Get the F out of here. That's just like the brain rot. I mean, and people believe that. That's crazy.
I don't know. Do people believe it? Maybe some people. If you're still watching Fox News and you think that they're telling you anywhere remotely to accurate information, then maybe you would believe it.
I think there's a lot of people still believing that. Like, yeah, we're bombing them real good.
The latest, it's wild. The latest update here on IranInternational.com, that's like mainstream Iran, is Trump calls Iran war righteous mission. And I don't know if you saw, Will, at the to kick this whole thing off, to kick off the attack on Iran, we blew up that girls' school, that looked like a ritualistic blood sacrifice to kick this whole thing off.
Oh,
what do you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely. For sure. And just a few days before the starting of kind of the season of sacrifice, right? There's no hard line in this hour, day, minute. It can be even in the occult, right? It's the 3 days before spring equinox that are very potent. The building up of that type of energy. So for sure, I mean, a young girls' school. Absolutely.
It was like 140, 150, 160 of them. They blew it up and killed them. So that kicked this whole thing off, and that got the Iranians all pissed off, rightfully so. And here we are today, stacking bodies everywhere.
That's right. Yeah, man.
That's all the reporting I got today, Will. What you got? Anything else before we sign off on this Friday spring equinox going into the season of sacrifice? Oh, one more thing. What do you make? Are we going to see a major false flag here on America to blame Iran? What do you think about that?
I think the probability is high, and this would be the time period to potentially do it. I mean, they really can do it whenever they want, but once you understand the energetic and the occult phase of this natural cycle, there's a reason. You plant a seed in the spring to harvest your bounty or yield a harvest in the summer, right? So there's a cause and effect, and there's a delayed time period. So knowing that, it's a good time to take positive action within oneself, within one's own life, but also be vigilant and be prepared and use discernment, right? If you see some type of big event, stop, drop, and think is how I like to look at it, right? They count on people just getting that reaction right away and jumping on a certain type of bandwagon. And, even whatever area you're in, be vigilant and be aware. Surroundings.
Situational awareness is key.
100%. Absolutely.
And Iran has declared a fatwa, a global jihad against America because we killed their supreme leader. So that is a thing. And there are crazy radicalized Muslims that will kill you now. And so you could thank the U.S. government and Trump for that. But you got a target on you, America, and that is a real thing. And whether it's staged up, fake, or real, that is a thing. So be aware.
Yeah. Whatever happens, there's a deeper agenda to it, right? If there's some kind of bombing or an event from a foreign entity on U.S. soil, it was planned. At this global game, everything is planned to a large extent. It's just the perception of how they're presenting it makes it seem like everything is just happening as it comes, right? But these social engineers are advanced psychologists. They understand how to get a certain condition. They understand manifestation and what they have to do to nudge and influence people.
Let's go to the channels and take a look at a couple comments, and then we'll wrap up this show. Will.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, I'm over on the Odyssey right now, and we have our regular listeners over there. Thank you guys for tuning in, keeping that chat going. Huffman, Deep, Gurr, John over there. What are they talking about? That flower was discovered by German. How do you say that? Scolema. It's discovered by a German chemist many years ago before MK Ultra employed it. Well, yeah, aren't the Nazi scientists from Operation Paperclip a prelude to MK Ultra? I think they are, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that where we got a lot of our sadistic human experimentation mindset from, is the Nazi scientists coming and joining our scientific establishment here in America?
Oh, yeah, that was the U.S. excuse to bring those scientists over.
Let's see here. Any other ones there? Do you see Aardvark's? Do you see the Aardvark attack on Sweeney, the RT reporter? Yeah, we played that clip yesterday. It's crazy. Guy sitting there reporting, and a ball literally drops. Like I'm surprised they didn't get him, but thankfully the guy.
I saw that.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, you could see it. Like he as he's talking, he can recognize it in the air, and he's like, "Oh."
That's wild. But, hey, they've killed over 250 journalists there in Palestine, and the West Bank. So,
wow.
Yeah, since October 7th, since the worst attack in world history. You could add October 7th. No, that doesn't fit in that's our next phase, but that is. Let's see here. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in there. That trader Mayorkas used the HOA. Yeah, he used that fake 6 million line. Yeah. So you couldn't say anything bad about Mayorkas, the former head of Department of Homeland Security, because he said, I was part of 6 million that happened bad over there in Europe that time. And they said, oh, well, we're not allowed to say anything bad to you then. It's just like, how many times can you guys play this played out card?
Yeah, that's a part of their kind of storyline, right? To kind of they need people to feel sorry for them and also hate them, right? Because that's how you play that victimhood story.
It's almost played out. I don't know, but they've overplayed already, but it's not stopping them. John on the Odyssey said, I think Tavistock does more with mind control. Germans were used for rocket science and other tech.
Yeah, both. Tavistock, yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys, thank you for tuning in on the Odyssey, the X, Kick, Twitch, and BitChute. Let's go to our big chats are usually on the Rumble and the YouTube now until they're not. But thank you guys for chatting it up and keeping it lively on the Rumble and the YouTube. Let's see a few here from the Rumble. Lies said, if you have young children, keep them close, keep your eyes on them. Yeah,
absolutely. Yes.
Lies has a Bible verse here, Genesis 3:22. Oh, that's a good one. 3:22. And the Lord God said, behold, the man is as one of us to know good and evil, and now at least he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. Oh, that's a pretty good one. It's a pretty good one. Lies 322 out of Genesis right there.
There you go.
That's good stuff.
Good numbers.
Continuing here, let's see. Shout out to Bart, Bob on the Rumble, Chloe. Thank you guys for tuning in and chatting it up, keeping it lively there. Let's see. Here's one for you, Will, from one of your viewers. The transparency from Iran is quite shocking, they say. Yeah, I don't know about that. They've been saying it. They do tell you how they feel.
Yeah.
Order followers plus AI is the worst thing imaginable.
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster.
Well, they've said, again, if you haven't followed the reporting on it, like 2 weeks ago, the Pentagon said, we're not going to do business with Anthropic anymore because they want, quote, guardrails on their, quote, AI software. And we want to use the AI software to mass surveil the American people and implement a autonomous weaponized system program. So, yeah.
Yeah, the infrastructure is there and ready, right? I mean, we're already being attacked and violated already. That's been, live in effect through food, air, water,
And they've been reporting on previously declassified CIA documents. Project Artichoke, that's been coming out of the Daily Mail for the last few weeks. They talk about the chemtrails, the poison, the food, water, air, medicine. All of that is all mainstream now. It's all mainstream.
That's right. I mean, naturally, conscious awareness is going to connect dots. It could be slow over time. So just imagine how long people have been talking about fluoride and, chemicals in food. Years.
Project
decades.
Artichoke, declassified documents from the CIA published just like 2 weeks ago in the Daily Mail, lay it all out there for everybody to see.
That's right. Yep. It's just now coming out.
And in the mainstream, right? So it's like, it was a conspiracy theory yesterday, but the Daily Mail published it, so now it's freaking the gospel. It's just so dumb, the game we play here, but that is the way it is, I guess. So now it's publicly acceptable to discuss such things in polite company, Will. Let's see. Here's another one from one of your viewers, Will. I think Iran's probably the only independent sovereign state in the world, maybe Taiwan as well. By the way, I'm not a statist. I get what you're saying. I wouldn't accuse you of being a statist, but I do get what you're saying. I don't know. Are they independent? I don't know. A lot goes back to, do they have the central bank, part of the Rothschild Western banking system? You know what I mean? That's a big part of it as well. I believe, and let me get your take on this, Will, at the very top highest levels, they're all in the same secret society, cult, whatever you want to call it, Babylon mystery religion. It has the Illuminati, it has all kind of different names, but it's the same cult. At the end of the day, they all have the same mindset.
Yeah, they do. The whole planet is captured. I mean, when it comes to Iran, just look at the flag, right? The flag, that's not the original state flag, country flag of Iran, right? The other one had the same colors, but it had the lion in the middle of itself. That flag was supposed to represent a sovereign state and country. It was infiltrated. So the flag they have now is what? It's the Muslim Brotherhood flag, but those people in there were came from Israel. It's a deep dive.
Yeah, now it looks like this is like your GI Joe Cobra kind of flag, right? This is like what Cobra, the enemy in the GI Joe cartoon, has going on. I mean, yeah, that's not the original lion flag there.
Yeah.
That's that's jihad, right? They're saying jihad. We're
Yep.
the Islamic Republic.
Yeah.
And then here's the OG flag you were talking about. Let's show that one with the lion. Well, there's two. I like the one with the lion with the sword. This is a pretty good one. Let me see if I can. Yeah, here's a pretty good. The Persian flag. The Persian flag. Here you go. So that's a pretty sweet one right there.
Yep.
Right.
That's what it used to be.
And there's different little variations with the sword, but yeah, pretty much that's it.
Yeah, you can see the sun behind there as well, right? So you have the light, the upward pointing sword represents justice, and can represent morality or ethic, moral behavior, and the lion representing strength. The sun also representing sovereignty. So that's the symbolism.
It's just righteous, right? It just is righteous.
Yeah.
And then we traded. Iran traded that in for this BS, right?
Well, yeah, and yes, that's a rabbit hole people can kind of go down to see the influence from Israel.
Man,
to get those people in there.
Man, oh man, the best enemy money can buy. And why? And they're naked in the whole plot, in the fact that the president of Syria now is the former head of Al Qaeda, and they refused to attack their sworn enemy, Aardvark land. You know what I mean? That kind of, just look at that, and that gives away the whole game right there.
Yeah, exactly.
That simple fact.
Exactly.
All right, let's see. We got few more comments here. Let's see. Absolute zombie brain rot. One of your comments said, "Hey, you'd be thankful if they're bombing you too." All right.
Please don't stop the bombing.
They're tweeting.
Wow.
They're tweeting, "Bomb us more." Fox News classic. Let's see. Lai said, "Satanic ritual murdering young female virgins to start the bloodbath." Ooh, indeed. That was a great. You nailed it right there.
Yep.
Right there.
Yep, that's right. Absolutely. For sure.
And they lied and said we didn't do it, and it's come out. They did it. We did it. America did it.
Yeah, and
100%.
Symbolically and energetically, right? There's nothing more energetically potent than a young female child. Right, and that doesn't mean that boys are less. There's just they're different. They have different energetic signatures, and so horrific.
They bombed the school on the same date the government assaulted in Waco. Started in Waco. Wow.
Interesting. Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt that. Makes a lot of sense. They got their entities to feed, right?
Yeah, I mean, spring. This is a feminine, energetic characteristic time of year, right? We're in a feminine dynamic, so that's why I said, a young female child is energetictic potent. So if you have a death cult that wants sacrifice, that's what, to maximize dark energetic potential, that's what you would do. So it's disgusting and horrific.
And you would give a speech like we played that short clip of Netanyahu. You would talk just like, you would do what they do and talk just like they talk, and then I mean, it's right there for the world to see.
Yeah.
What do they say? All is symbolic, friends.
Absolutely.
Um, Anybody else there? Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. FDA's worthless, Jan said. Well, yeah. Um, Worthless for us. I mean, it's very valuable for the poison pushers, right? But for us, for the general public, it's worthless. But for them, it's very valuable.
Yeah.
Um, the real jihad refers to the war within. No, but they're saying literally take your sword and chop heads off now. Like they're because we U.S. whacked their supreme leader. I mean, that's kind of a thing for these people following their supreme leader. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
And-
absolutely.
And so they're like in it. They're in it to the death, and they want to be martyred. They see it as a great honor, right? So that's their mindset that we need to be aware of. These people are out there, man, and they're looking for vengeance right now.
That's right.
Thank you to our crime syndicate known as the federal government, because they put a target on all of us Americans here now. And those guys that are looking at all of us, they don't care what you think, right? You're dirty American to them. So just keep that in mind.
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually if they pull a stunt like that, initiate a false flag with actual death, right? It would just give them, especially a personality like Donald Trump, right, to literally try to do whatever he wants. Obviously, with his he's just the shadow of other people, but remain vigilant, like you said, Sam. Situational awareness, and the lady in the chat, keep an eye on your kids. 100%.
All right, guys. They mentioned gematria here in base 6. Gematria, humanity equals 666. Oh, what do you make of that gematria? Anything, Will?
Yeah, gematria, absolutely. It's there's a couple different forms of gematria. There's Hebrew gematria as well, but numbers have a certain harmonic resonance to it, right? It's not necessary. There are no numbers in nature, right? So numbers and math is a human construct that is based in truth, objective truth. And these are aspects and energetic signatures, proportions, ratios, and vibrations in nature itself. So yeah, there's these absolutely numerology and things like gematria. They have symbolic representations, but like anything, it can be in an imbalanced state, and it can be taken way too literal, and seeing patterns where, there could be confusion. So I've seen it all in that aspect.
I hear you.
But yes,
So-
but in numerology, 666 does equate to humanity.
I think with all this stuff, like we were talking about AI earlier, it's a tool, and it depends on how you use it.
Yes, correct.
All right, Will, thank you very much for all your time today and all your great work. Everybody go to willkeller.com to find all of his work. Let me flash that up there one more time, willkeller.com. Any final thoughts before we sign off this Friday spring equinox broadcast?
Yeah, it's blazing hot in my studio right now. It's going to walk, get some fresh air. Thanks for having me on, Sam. I mean, you're diligent, super consistent, and I love what you do. So huge respect to you, and thank you to all the viewers that tuned in today. Happy spring equinox, and stay vigilant. Thanks for having me on, brother.
All right. Thank you, Will. As always, everybody do your own research. Peace, love, and freedom. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Friday evening, a great weekend, and kick off to the spring equinox. And let's pray for peace. Let's pray for peace. End these wars. End them.